How's it going, people? Sam and Slappy here, and this is a little update video. It's the patch notes and everything to go along with it. This is late, along with pretty much everything else, to be totally honest. I've been a bit too busy lately in real life, random crap I have to do. So yeah, everything's a bit behind. I was hoping to get an MCFS up yesterday and have a couple more quest guides and everything done, but yeah, you know, shit happens, can't help it. So either way, let's get in with it then. The updates and stuff, I'm sure many of you already know about this. I'll include the patch notes as well, so yeah, it's going to be a fairly biggish video. So starting off is the boss timer, the kill counts, and fixes to legacy mode and stuff. There's been quite a few updates here. So the first thing to mention, I guess, if you haven't seen it already, is the fact that they've actually added boss timers. So upon entering an instance boss fight, you'll now see a movable little boss timer in your interface. It'll appear at the top of the screen starting off, and you can move it about wherever you want, same as usual. This will remain and keep counting up for as long as it takes whilst you're inside the instance boss area to actually defeat it, and will announce the kill time in your chat box when it actually dies. Note that the timer will not appear if more than a certain number of players are in said instance though, so this differs depending on the boss. So it'll be 1 in the Giant Mole, the Toxic Jad, Queen Black Dragon, Ziliana, Grado, Kriara, Krill Sutzeroth, Harakan, Legioners, Araxor, Calfight King, Nex, Barrows Rise of the Six, and Virago. For each one of these, the timer won't appear if you're over this designated number next to them. So pretty much everything is if there's more than one player, unless it's the Ascension boss, the new Spider boss, Calfight King, Nex, Barrows Rise of the Six, or Virago. So there we go, there is that. Additionally, they're adding kill counts, so they're also adding a way to track the amount of kills you've got on bosses and certain Slayer monsters, and all of these are listed below. There's quite a lot of them, so again, it's the typical bosses, so Giant Mole, King Black Dragon, Barrows Bros, Normal and Rise of the Six, the Chaos Elemental, Calfight Queen, Toxic Jad, Corporeal Beast, Dagonoth Kings, QED, Ziliana, General Grado, Kriara, Krill Sutzeroth, Haragan, Calfight King, the Ascension boss, Nex, Araxor, and Virago. And the Slayer monsters they've decided to include in this lot are Terror Dogs, Bloodvelds, Warped Tortoises, Aberrant Spectres, Dust Devils, Order Maidens, Skeletal Wyverns, Jungle, Desert, and Ice Strike Worms, Aquanites, Necreals, Mutated Judinkos, Order of Ascension mobs, Polypore creatures, Spiritual Mages, Dark Beasts, Aid-Roots, Abyssal Demons, Calgarian Demons, Tormented Demons, Glagers, Gargoyles, Muspur, and the Niles. So all of those now have a kill timer or kill count on them. So there we go, there is that. So the other thing which happened this week is the legacy updates. So apparently everyone's been giving feedback on the forums in, well, the official legacy forums, wherever it is, and they fixed up a bunch of stuff apparently. So the minimap icons are now correctly sized within EOC mode. Combat challenges can now be blocked at 138 combat level. Flurry no longer deals magic damage when Karasi Sword's equipped. The Amulet of Glory has been rebalanced, so the Amulet of Fury is the better choice, as it should be. The number of outdated references to combat levels and life point values have also been corrected. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The only other things worth mentioning is they did chuck Void into Solomon's General Store. And they did remake the Adventurous log, which you can check out if you haven't already. You can just go straight to your account on the actual website itself and you can find it that way. The other thing worth mentioning is Treasure Hunter. I'm sure you may have seen it. It's this Divine Recall. So you can use these to boost your XP, and you can be getting up to 50% additional Divination XP from your Treasure Hunter, and it lasts this weekend. So yeah. Basically, Divination Lamps and Stars plus Prismatic Lamps and Stars used on Divination will give you a bonus 50% extra XP, and you're more likely to get them for the most part. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's what's going to be in the Treasure Hunter. So Divine Recall is pretty much a massive boost to Divination out the bumble. So yeah. So last but not least then, we have patch notes. Lots and lots of patch notes at that. So without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? So, graphical wise, Legacy users will now see the correct minimap icon after completing the God statue. Players can no longer see the ocean near Braindeath Isle when inside the Stronghold of Security. The stun animation above players' heads no longer loops infinitely. NPCs in the Fate of the Gods now appear darker in OpenGL. The rotation of the tips of scroll bars has been corrected across many interfaces in the game. Lunar teleport spells no longer have random black marks around them. Some minor clipping in Ubius has been fixed. So, moving on to skills and minigames, untradeable potions no longer have a herb lore level requirement to actually drink them. Quest fixes corrected the message displayed when attempting to start the World Wakes to require combat level 100 instead of 140. And moving on to miscellaneous fixes. There is now a 30-second delay when trying to re-enter the Kalphite King boss room. Lucky clover necklaces of the same type and number of leaves can have their charges combined by using one on another in the player's backpack. The heroic hitmarks cosmetic override once again activates correctly for players who had them activated prior to the legacy update. Some walking space has been added to the balconies in Tletia. The constructors and shaman's outfits now give an extra 1% bonus when the full set is worn. Killing NPCs with loot share enabled in the God Wars dungeon will no longer award 2 to the kill count. The descriptions of fishing bubbles in the shop interface has been shortened. The arrow on the tooltip of Juan's shop now points at the right entry. Saradomin's spiritual rangers in the God Wars dungeon no longer have male voices. The cleaning cloth item no longer refers to cleaning poison from weapons. Equipping signs of respite from the bank will now correctly consume the item. The continuous ticking sound will no longer occur when killing a Broodoo victim. The descriptions of tracker auras in Juan's store have also been corrected. Clicking on a constitution skill requirement from a crest within the featured interface will now open the combat category of challenges instead of the daily challenges. Revenant vampires now have a similar spawn rate to other revenant creatures. Hatty paws can no longer be duplicated from a toy box. So moving on to legacy fixes, there's quite a few. The Amulet of Glory has been rebalanced, so the Army of Fury still remains the best. Tooltips now scale life point values between Legacy and EOC combat modes. The tooltips on a couple of abilities have been updated to highlight information better. The Flurry ability no longer deals magic damage when used with Karasi's sword as the main hand weapon. References to critical chance bonuses in the Dungeoneer reward shop has been amended to list respective strength bonuses. The Teddy block casting animation in Legacy mode has been updated. Players can now block combat challenges correctly at 138 combat. Attempting to cast a spell with the drained magic level will no longer deselect the autocast spells. Queued spells are now cleared from previous duels if the player's next duel has magic disabled. The hit marks being displayed in Conquest have been corrected in Legacy mode. The minimap icon in EOC mode has been reduced in size. Nomad's combat level has been corrected. Using the healing aura scroll will no longer drain special attack in Legacy mode. An issue with the loadout interface displaying 9,900 life points instead of 990 in Legacy mode has been fixed. The quick chat menu no longer repeatedly opens when the option has been toggled off. Emotes can no longer be dragged in a Legacy mode. Virago's chat will now refer to 5,000 and 7,000 entry damage when in Legacy mode. The Staff of Light special attack will no longer give the Berserk effect when it runs out. The Lucky Saradomin sword and Saradomin sword now have matching stats. Dragonbone Mage armor no longer has a magic level requirement in order to equip it. Incorrect messages about requirements for ceremonial swords have been removed. Moving on to the ninja fixes. Active scrimshaws and auras now display on the buff panel. Players can now optionally equip Seedicide in their pocket slot. Seedicide can now be used whilst pickpocketing as a convenience item. No farming experience is awarded for seeds consumed in this way. Seedicide will now convert seeds dropped from killing Jadingos in the Herblore Habitat area. Seedicide no longer works from a player's bank. The Summoning Scroll cast animation has been updated. Bats and scorpions have been graphically updated across the game. Dust and smoke devils have been graphically updated. The pumpkin amulet can now be added to a keepsake box. Several trees that were causing issues while training divination near Seer's village has been relocated. Players can now use quick chat to display their slayer points, and the main option on Calquat fruit is now use rather than scoop out, so they can be converted into notes via a leprechaun easier. So there we go. Like I said, it is a bit late, my bad. I was kind of hoping to get a lot more things up and done by this week, but yeah, shit happens. Either way, I guess I'll just have to go a bit mental next week. Hopefully it'll go back to normal. Either way, people, that's all the information I have for this week's entire update, so hopefully you're now well informed. Either way, I will catch you all later. Have a good one.